Hello, my name is Abby Linville, and I am excited to share my ePortfolio with you today. I'm going to start off by going over the candidate info. The first item is the artifact folder. In this folder, you will find all of my artifacts that correspond with my practicum activities that are outlined in my slideshows below. I have organized them into folders by their level. I have a district one, an elementary, and a secondary level. I also included a folder that includes all of my candidate info in it, and another folder that has some other activities in it, such as annotated bibliography and the component tracker. Each of the artifacts listed in the district, elementary, and secondary artifact folders are labeled with the standard that they correspond with. The next thing in the candidate info is the personal goals video. The personal goals video share my personal and professional goals over the next 5 to 10 years, and also the goals I had for myself and expectations I had for this building leadership program. I also included a leadership philosophy, which I found to be a really impactful activity to complete. It allowed me to reflect on all of my experiences throughout my career and throughout my education and see how they impacted the type of leader I am today. It also allowed me to reflect on what I value as a leader as well. I also then included my program of study for this program. And then I included a program completion timeline in this video. I outline how my education career started and what drove me to want to be in education. And then it follows on through what led me to make the decision to be in this program and my goals moving forward in my career as well. I also included my resume where I highlighted key experiences that I have had that would make me a great candidate for being a building leader, as well as the skills I have and my involvement within my school district that would make me a good candidate for being a building principal. In the next section are the activities that correspond with some of the artifacts that were found in that artifact folder above. I also have included an annotated bibliography. In this activity, we were given 11 questions and needed to find 3 articles that correspond with those questions. I found this to be a really great activity for deepening my understanding of building leadership and familiarizing myself with current information that is out there. I also included the activity log form and spreadsheet. If you look at my spreadsheet below, I organized the activities by their activity level. The elementary activities are in yellow, the secondary are in blue, and the district level activities are in red, and my total number of practicum hours is listed at the bottom. The activity component tracker was used to ensure that I had an activity to correspond with each of the 22 components, and also to make sure that I did not ever double up on standards as well. If you look in the district level activity artifact slideshow, this showcases all of the practicum hours that I completed and the activities that correspond with them. I completed 5 district activities. The first was creating an elementary grading policy with the help of the assistant superintendent and curriculum administrators in my district, and that grading policy will roll out in the fall of 2022. I also worked with some peers to create a rubric that we could use to evaluate math curriculums that we were looking at adopting in the upcoming school year. And we wanted our rubric to really look closely at cultural representation and diversity within that curriculum. We want to make sure that the resources that we are using in our district provide equitable access to all students and represent all cultures and diversity in them as well. So I helped create that rubric as well as use that rubric to evaluate 3 different curriculum choices. Um, the big thing that I did at the district level is I worked with kindergarten and first grade teams on curriculum mapping. I guided them in using assessment data provided through NWEA MAP and used that to help align standards, pace out our curriculum, and create common assessments. In an effort to build my knowledge in working with community members and outside like community stakeholders and partners within our district around some common goals, I decided to join the Turner Early Literacy Council. This council is working towards kindergarten readiness and working specifically with children from birth to 5 in the Turner School District. This was a great opportunity for me to build connections within the community and to see how we can all work together towards meeting the common goal of having all of our students come to us kindergarten ready. The last district activity that I did is I attended Adaptive Schools Professional Learning. I attended 2 days in March, and I will complete the training in May after school gets out. And this professional learning focused on building a collaborative culture within the school using strategies and techniques to help build effective teams, which will lead to stronger professional learning communities. And I think when you have effective teams, it affects your overall professional culture. I gained a lot of knowledge through that professional learning and have already started to apply some of those techniques within the professional learning communities that I attend weekly. At the elementary level, I completed 10 activities. The first activity was I worked with a building principal to update her school mission and vision and her school improvement plan as well. We use data collected through the 5 Essentials, which is the survey that we give to all teachers, parents, and students in 4th or 5th grade. That kind of gets their overall feeling of the school. And then we use this data to help identify what the school staff values, and created a school mission and vision statement using their support. And then we also then updated their school improvement plan after that. Another activity I did at the elementary level was I shadowed a building principal, and I also stepped in and helped fill in for building principals when they were out. I covered for both building principals and vice principals with the support of district administrators. This was a great opportunity for me to get to problem solve within a real life setting. I was able to handle some discipline issues, communicate and work with parents, and also address some of those day-to-day issues that come up like sub shortages. So I felt like that really allowed me to model ethical practices in a real life setting. The next activity I did was when one of the principals noticed that her school culture was being affected by teachers' stress. She did an activity at a staff meeting where she had her staff come in and write down some things on a paper plate that they would like taken off their load to kind of ease the stress. So I helped her with this activity, and then we met after the teachers had completed it, and we went through some of the stressors that the teachers were feeling, and we created a plan to help alleviate some of the stress and take some of these things off of their plates. And this really did help impact the school culture overall and make it a more positive working environment. The next activity that I did is in my school district, we have PD cohorts. And at the beginning of every year, teachers get an opportunity to choose a cohort that they want to learn about. There's all different types of topics. I was leading a cohort on our ELA curriculum. This is our 2nd year of adoption, and some of the teachers weren't feeling very comfortable with it. So I surveyed them, and using their feedback, I created 5 90-minute sessions that kind of helped give them more information about what implementation should look like. And they were then able to take that, reflect with their peers, and put some of those key things in place in their classroom so that their implementation of our curriculum is even stronger now. The next activity that I did was a map data dive using the NWEA map. I pulled all of the data for kindergarten and first grade teams across the district. I pulled their fall data for this year, their winter data for this year, and then the winter data from last year as well. The teachers then looked at it, identified their strengths and weaknesses, and then we made a plan for the spring semester about some instructional changes that they want to make based off of their data. And so I'm excited they get ready to take their spring NWEA map test next week to see how those changes have impacted their instruction this semester. The other activity that I did is I joined the Junction Site Council. The Site Council works with parents and community members to help brainstorm ideas about how we can support student learning and success within the school. So I met with those parents on a not those parents, with the Site Council on a quarterly basis to work on identifying and building those activities. Another thing that I did is I created a parent's guide to kindergarten. In this guide, it explains to parents what they can expect in kindergarten, what the grading process looks like, and what skills they can expect their student to gain while in kindergarten. I also met with the Junction Elementary principal and discussed how she completes her budget and what the budgeting process looks like in her school year to year and how she decides to allocate the funds that she is given. I also had the opportunity to interview teachers for the upcoming school year. I worked with the building principal to look through the teacher applications and identified 5 that she would like to interview for open positions. I then took part in interviewing each of those teachers, and 2 of those teachers ended up being hired for the upcoming school year. I also had an opportunity to observe teachers in kindergarten and first grade completing a math lesson. We had focused a lot in our professional learning on guided discourse within math, and so I went in and specifically watched for guided discourse in their classrooms and provided them with feedback so that they can continue to strengthen their implementation of their professional learning that they engaged in. At the secondary level, I had the opportunity to attend the KISA visit where I was able to observe the secondary principals sharing about how they have evaluated their improvement processes, specifically around the areas of high school graduation and overall student achievement and college and career readiness, and the adjustments that they will make moving forward with their improvement plans. I also was able to attend an annual IEP for a secondary student and I had the chance to observe how the administrator's role and what that looks like within that IEP setting and how they make decisions throughout an IEP. I was also able to attend 2 professional learning communities at the secondary level and see how the administrator helps facilitate conversations around instructional strategies and differentiation. I was also able to collaborate with secondary teachers as they previewed math curriculum options for the school district this year, specifically looking at middle school curriculums and high school curriculums as well. I also communicated with the community school liaison and met with her to see how she works with the secondary principals to help communicate out resources to secondary families and looks at how we can best reach secondary students and their families. I also met after creating an assignment for my educational law class regarding FERPA. I met with the secondary principal to discuss how he shares laws with the staff at his school as well. And I also collaborated with secondary coaches to create a professional learning session over fact fluency to help address students who are struggling in math. My last thing that is in here is my administrative verification document. I have my district level signed, my secondary level, and the elementary level. And then I also have my Eportfolio program reflection as well. I found my practicum experience to be a really impactful, important one that I felt like really prepared me to be a building principal. I thank you for this opportunity and for listening to my portfolio. Have a great day.